What's up guys, Billy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at an application I've come across that I think every single drone owner should have downloaded on their mobile device. It's called Kittyhawk. It's free to download, although they do offer a premium subscription which gives you access to some more powerful features. That's going to cost you $9.99 per month or $99.99 per year, so if you pay that full year up in advance, it's going to give you $20 off basically. As far as the features are concerned, there are way too many to list off right here. We will be walking through the application and it's free, so if you guys want to download that really quickly and then kind of follow along with me as I walk through, it might give you a better understanding of the application, but some of the features, just to list them off, they give you the option to do a pre-flight checklist, pre-flight checklist, post-flight checklist. They allow you to look at all of your flight data, which is, in my opinion, a little bit more intuitive than the DJI Go application. They also allow you to actually fly the drone within the application itself, the Kittyhawk app. And then also all of that data that is basically stored on your phone is actually stored into your account, and then you can view it on your computer within a web application, which is just awesome to see on the big screen. So anyway, I'm going to go turn on my drone, link it all up, and then we're going to walk through this application together. Actually, one more thing I quickly want to mention before we get into the application is that this is going to be more of a preview rather than a full walkthrough. I've only had this application for a couple of days now. In fact, I just had to make a new account for this video. So again, I'm still learning. If some of you guys have been using this application for longer, maybe you can leave some different tips and tricks down in the comments section for not only myself, but also for other users who want to learn more about this application. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll have a good review and a good full walkthrough of this application up for you guys to view. So anyway, jumping into my iPhone screen, the first thing we'll do is, of course, click on Kittyhawk, the application itself, and it opens up the flight deck, or the pre-flight kind of screen here. And it presents us with the first problem I have with this application, and that is the user interface, the UI. In my opinion, it's way too much up in your face. It shows a lot of data all on one screen, and some people may like this, but I like to have different screens for different things. And again, this may be something I just need to get over, but I think the UI could use a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of work. Now, as far as what's on this actual screen, the first thing in the top left corner is going to be our aircraft status. So right now I'm connected to the aircraft and I could click go fly to start a mission, but we're going to save this for last as we're going to kind of build up to it. Next up in the top right corner is going to be our sync status, with our Kittyhawk account basically syncing all of the different data across our account to our different devices. So as of right now, when I click on sync status, I have online mode turned on so that all of the time it will sync for me. Again, I would always recommend having this turned off. Next up is flight conditions in the middle. This shows us all the different weather conditions around us, and honestly, this is probably my favorite part about this application. I've tried to use different weather apps, like the stock iPhone weather app, Dark Sky. I've also used Hover. I know a lot of people like that, although I really wasn't a fan. But this right here is going to show you all the different weather conditions around you. It has a summary, it has the wind, airspace, visibility, cloud cover, daylight, KP index, which I have no idea what that means, GPS signal, and of course density. So again, I'm not going to go through and read all of these. I think my personal favorite is probably the wind. We'll get into the forecast in a little bit. I'll show you guys. That's pretty cool. Also the daylight. It's going to show us when the sun sets. And as you guys know, you're not really supposed to be flying when it's dark time out if you have a commercial license. So again, this is good as it shows you when the sun will set. Now, next up in the bottom left corner is going to be, or actually this whole bottom is your flight tools, but in the bottom left corner it's going to show you the airspace and no-fly zones, and it's probably the best no-fly zone application that I've used. I know there's like the DJI website that shows you where not to fly. There's other little apps here and there, but for some reason, the maps are always very choppy. It takes a long time to load, and again, it's just really not the best. So here, if we click on airspace, it shows you basically everything around you, no-fly zones, and if you click on one of these right here, I think it's this one, it'll show you the different layers to show you flight or temporary flight restrictions, wildfires, schools, airports, heliports, different airspaces, national parks, hospitals, power plants, fires. I mean, there's so much information inside of here that you guys can take a look at. It also shows you the latitude and longitude at the top, and as you move around, that little marker in the middle that's black and has the K on it, it shows you the different advisories around that actual area. So again, this is probably the best flight airspace, I guess, application I've used, if you want to call it that. And also it shows you this in real time as you're flying around. So once we hit go fly, I'll show you more of what I mean. So backing out of the airspace thing for now, next up is forecast. Boom, click on forecast, and this will basically show you a 7-day forecast of the weather. So kind of what you can expect for the next coming days. And my favorite thing is by height. So this will show you the different wind conditions and the different temperatures as you rise, which is something I've never seen a weather app do, I guess, and this is really tailored just for drones. So you can see here, as you go up to 400 feet, the winds are going to be 9 miles per hour. That's something awesome that I've never seen before, and again, I probably sound like a kid in a candy shop right now, but that's just really cool. And it also shows you like stuff as you go up like 2,000 feet, although I really don't think anybody's going to be going 2,000 feet up in the air with their drone. But it's just cool to look at. I mean, you know, 3,000 feet up, 15-mile-an-hour winds. Cool. So anyway, that's forecast, and if we do by time, of course, this is like a standard weather application. It'll show us the different wind speeds, it'll show us the visibility, it'll show us rain percentage, and it'll also, of course, show us the temperature outside. All of which you could find in a standard weather application, but this, again, is tailored just for drones. Now that's basically everything on that front screen, and if you see the 3 dots in the top right corner, it kind of mimics the DJI Go application. We have a couple of different areas to choose from. We have our activity, log flight, log checklist, assets, and profile. So we'll click on activity for right now, and this will show us all the different flights, all the different missions, all the different checklists. These are just little things that I actually had in my old account, but right now, creating this new account, I have nothing to share with you. So once you guys actually start adding some flights and logging some flights, everything will show up here in your activity. Next up are the assets, and this is basically where all of your information is stored. So I've got my craft information, I've got my Phantom 4 Pro hooked up right there. I click on it, it shows us the stats, all of these different things about it, registration number, all of which I haven't really put in yet. But again, it shows us the amount of flights, flight times, and the amount of data that it shows here just by clicking on your actual drone itself is awesome to look at. Next, backing out of here, we can see our batteries, the cycles, the cycle health, all of that different stuff. I only have one battery input actually here, but you guys can add all of the different batteries that you have to keep count of the cycles, keep count of serial number, keep count of the health, really just of the battery itself. Next up, we have documents, media, checklists, locations, all of which you guys can input yourself. Checklists, I think, is really cool. I actually have a little pre-flight checklist right here. This is kind of like a test. All I put in here was insert SD card, battery check, and from here you can continue to add onto your pre-flight checklist. Something a lot of people seem to skip over, although a pre-flight checklist is definitely something you guys are going to want to do. I'll have more about pre-flight checklists probably up this Sunday. I'll be posting my pre-flight checklist that I use. You also have the option to do in-flight, post-flight checklists, also maintenance, and also just kind of other checklists that you don't really have a classification for. Next up is the profile, and this is just where you change some of the different settings. Again, you guys can tear through this all you want, but that's where you change some of the preferences, settings. You can also add Touch ID so that nobody can just kind of enter your Kittyhawk account, which is something that's pretty awesome. Now, if you want to add new missions or if you want to add new flight data, again, you click on those 3 dots in the top right corner, click on log flight, and this is where you begin to log different flight types, I guess. So you have run timer, create live flight, manual flight log, import DJI flight. Actually, that import DJI flight is only available for premium users, I believe. So if you guys want to be able to import some of your data from the DJI Go application, then you are going to want to pay for that premium, the premium account. So there we're logging flight. We can click abort at the bottom. And then this is kind of where it starts to get confusing. Like, I just want to get back to that main screen, and there, pre-flight pops up. So again, I think that UI could use some work. I promised you guys finally we're going to check out this Go Fly thing. So we click Go Fly. It says new craft detected, although I've already input my craft. So I'm not sure why every single time I try to go and fly, it basically says that there's a new craft detected. So I'll click add, it's going to add, and I'll click add again because it detected a new battery, although I already have that battery in there. So it's a little bit weird. Next we have telemetry. This is going to allow you to share your telemetry with local pilots as well as local airports, which could be something that is useful in the future, although right now I don't know a lot of people using this application, and I don't know a lot of airports actually checking flight telemetry on drones. So I think that this is a good start. I think that, I really wouldn't mind other pilots or other airports knowing where I am flying my drone. Really no big deal, but of course you can do anonymous flights, so they won't really know who you are. Next up is our log checklist. So before we even click on fly, click log checklist and we'll be able to choose from all of our checklists what we want. So I've got my pre-flight checklist, click on pre-flight, and it goes through the steps and makes sure you completed them. So the first one, it says insert SD card, and it gives me some details I've inputted through the application. Insert the SD card into the slot of the drone. So I go insert the SD card and then I click the check mark. And once I click the check mark, I'm able to move on to the next one. The next one is a battery check to make sure that I have filled up the battery all the way and it's, around 100%, maybe 97, because I always like to make sure I take off with a full battery. So I go battery check, make sure it's full. I've got 4 lights, boom, good. Click the little check mark in the middle, hit go, and now it says I'm at 100% completion. I can click abort, I can click fly, and now I am all ready to go. Now, if you guys notice, this is basically exactly what the DJI Go application looks like, with a little bit of differences here and there. It's a little bit more boxy, and in my opinion, I like using the DJI Go application a lot more than this. It gives you so much more information and so many more settings to tweak. Really, the only settings you can change in this application right here are the camera settings, and this basically mimics all of the DJI Go camera settings menu. You can click down here, you can change, your ISO, aperture, shutter, which I actually have an ND8 filter on right now inside, so it's super dark. But really, that's all as far as the application is concerned. Everything on this main screen, if you look at the DJI Go application, it basically mimics. And if we click on this map down here and we kind of bring it up like this to the middle of the screen, it actually shows us the different airspaces around us that we're not allowed to fly in, which is, again, awesome. That's what I meant by showing it in real time. So you can look around and just kind of, if I look right here where I am, I can say, all right, I can't fly too far to the right or too far north, I guess you could say, because I'm going to run into some sort of airspace, which I know that there's an airport around me right now. But again, this is just like a lifesaver in my opinion. So this video is a little bit different. I usually like to make them really precise and sort of cut them here and there just to make sure that I'm not running and rambling and all that stuff. But this was definitely a ramble video. I really wanted to share this with you guys as I think that this application is so powerful and it's just starting up. I mean, I think that they put this up on the App Store a couple of months ago. And I really think that this is going to be helpful for those of you who are flying a drone commercially. For those of you who are just flying around for fun, you may not have, the most success with this application. You may just want to continue to use the DJI Go application. But for those of you who really want to keep track of your flights, log your flights, and all of that stuff, Kittyhawk is definitely what you want to do. All of the links to everything that I've talked about in this video are going to be down in the description. To download the Kittyhawk application and also to Kittyhawk's website to check out their web application. Again, it's free. There's really no risk in trying the actual application itself, and there's no risk in even trying the premium version, as you do get a 7-day free trial. So I'd love to know what you guys have to say about this app. I never like to deviate away from the DJI Go application. I don't even like Lychee. I haven't downloaded it. I haven't tried it. From what I've seen, I really am not a fan of it, and I know that they've had some trouble with flyaways and intelligent flight modes, but I think that this here is safe. They've integrated DJI's application and all of their software into their application, so I think this is going to be a good application, and I'd love to see some of the updates that come. I feel like with this application, I've had it for 3 days now, and I've already gotten 2 updates on it, so they're really on top of things, trying to make it better, and honestly, I would definitely give it a try. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.